Okay, hi everybody. Welcome again to February Coffee with the President. Happy you're here. Hope you're warm and toasty wherever you are and that you have power and internet. We've already had a pretty interesting week at Eastern. It's warmed up to 17 degrees this morning, so we're on the way to recovery, but we did lose power Tuesday morning in Portales and in parts of Roosevelt County from about 6 a.m. until 10, and we had no internet for a while there too. So fortunately our crack team at ITS swapped out the switch that failed, and we got internet back, and Excel powered us back up, and we had heat again by 10 o'clock. But as I was hovering over my stove Tuesday morning, I said to myself, as I was hitting my arms trying to feel my hands, I said, but you know what? Thursday, we're going to Mars. So it was a wonderful sort of, contradiction between humans being kind of stupid, saying like, why is my shower water freezing cold? Oh, there's no power. There's no light. How am I going to make tea? I have no power. I can't even find the tea bags because I have no light. And then on Thursday, we're going, thousands of light years away, and we're dropping a rover and slowing it down from 12,000 miles, an hour down to 0, and landing it on the edge of a crater of an ancient sea and a delta. And they're going to do this all, with science and creativity and imagination. And what allows them to do that? Well, education allows them to do it. So it reminded me again, as I'm shivering over the stove, that we're still in the best profession in the world, education, and we still get to see all of this stuff as it happens, because we're teaching those minds that are going to make those immense contributions to science and society, going to make them possible. So I was very glad when the heat came back on and I could come back to work, because this is where it all happens. So I was really proud. So just a reminder, if you have any questions or comments or observations, feel free to add them in, and if I can respond to any of your questions, I certainly will, or just send a shout out to anybody who writes in. So let me tell you a little bit more about what we're doing at Eastern. Our major focus is getting ready for fall. We'll be back, we'll be in person, we're going to have students on campus, residence halls open, dining services going. Every indication we have is that we'll be full speed ahead, and we'll be ready to welcome students back, and we're getting that message out now. We're not the only ones, of course. All of the institutions in New Mexico are having the same discussions and doing the same planning. But we're being very careful about it. We're going to be very observant of all protocols relating to keeping that virus contained, and also making sure that people have all the information they know and access to vaccines. So we have lots of very great healthcare partners who will help us with that, and in fact all over the state. It's a priority, but I think, as Dr. Scrace and others have said, things are going to be much different late spring and by summer in terms of vaccines. So we're very heartened by that and very excited that we're leaning toward normal. We're also getting toward normal a little bit every day at Eastern. So the baseball team is competing, and they went out of state to compete. They came back. Everybody was healthy, and which of course was our goal. So they're following all the protocols, and we're just really happy that our student athletes who they love to play. They're here to be students, but they love to play. So we're so glad they had that opportunity and came back, and now they're getting ready for additional competition. So we're really delighted for them. We hope our softball team, which starts a little later in the spring, will have the same positive experience, and our outdoor track and field team again a little later in the spring. They better not try to run in this weather. They'd slip and fall. We don't want that. So anyway, we are competing out of state. Possibly that could change. So, and we also know that the high schools in New Mexico are beginning to do full practices. So things are getting better, and we hope we're beating back this virus, and certainly Roosevelt County is doing much better. We hope to be below 5% in terms of the whatever our rate is that codes us as green, yellow, or red. So get below 5%, we'll be ready to go to yellow, and that will open up a lot more businesses and other opportunities for people. So we're looking forward to that too. Now, if you have any questions, remember, add them in, and I'll be happy to respond.
We do have one from Sue Strickland saying, how will the new science building incorporate energy savings?
So the new science building, Roosevelt Science Center, and thank you for that question, will be a LEED building. LEED Silver is the industry standard in New Mexico that if you're doing a renovation, it must meet certain efficiency models defined by LEED, L-E-A-D, Silver, and that's an energy efficiency. So the normal way we do LEED efficiency, and this is especially important in a science building, is you use natural light wherever you can, and you use low flow toilets obviously, but you need lighting that is low, high efficiency, high illumination, but low load on your electrical grid. And there are a number of issues like that that are just standard that we put in place. There are also climate control features that allow you to adjust for various areas. So for example, some labs need to be cooler, some labs doesn't matter, classrooms need to be normal. So you can adjust temperature control across a building from a single location. So this is a huge energy saver because you can shut everything a little bit lower on weekends or during spring break or something like that. So there are lots of those that are part of the LEED Silver protocol. So those are extremely important. In addition, there are other innovations in science instrumentation that also is very efficient, and I wouldn't be the one to talk about that, but the science people are very aware of that. We also get discounts on some of those purchases because, of course, the state wants us to be energy efficient too. So all of those will be part of the planning for Roosevelt Science Center, which we're meeting weekly. That committee of users is meeting weekly, and as far as I know, there have been no fist fights, and everybody is, of course, ecstatic, because the more you look at the building and the more you think about what you can do for students there, the more exciting it becomes that we have that money and we can do that work. So really looking forward to that, and thank you for the question. Very important question.
Is there a timetable on when we're going to start the renovation?
Yes, there's of course a timetable. Is it realistic? I don't know that. We have to do the complete planning. We'll probably finish that sometime late spring, and then we can begin the construction phase in the summer. We might be able to move that up a little bit, but the first thing you have to do is asbestos. That's a very specialized process, and then you can, once you get that done, then you can move forward fairly rapidly. But summer is probably going to be when we start. Then we'll probably need about an 18-month construction period, and that will be from start to opening. So we do have, and it's rather optimistic perhaps, because a lot of the pandemic has slowed down delivery of a lot of building materials. It's happening all over the world, actually, but we are particularly seeing that in New Mexico. So some of the slowdowns may be related to building supplies, construction supplies, particularly steel. But we're moving forward as quickly as we can. We have blueprints, we have a plan, and we are very excited to get started.
Are you willing to share what the new building's going to look like?
Sure. We can post that, I think, maybe on Facebook and let people see it. It's a very innovative design. I think I've mentioned at previous coffees that we're working with a great architect, that understands that faculty do not like to leave their labs or to relocate them. So we're trying to do that once by building out one side of the building and then moving everyone into the newly renovated side and then working on the next side. And you might think, how can you possibly do this? Well, through the magic of architects, you can do it. Now, the buildings are not exactly built on top of each other. They're built side by side. So you can tie the systems in and move everything over without disrupting instrumentation or actually having to pay for rental space while that renovation is going on. So it's a very innovative plan, and it will basically move the footprint of the building to the north, but it will be recognizable and it will tie in closer to the science building itself. We will have to move the greenhouse, but other than that, I think we can accommodate on the space we have very, very well, and without, breaking any power lines or disrupting water or anything like that. So it's very well planned, and we happen to be very fortunate with the land we're on and the space that we have. So.
We had Ed Miller just say that he appreciates the abundant communication from you.
Oh.
And we had
abundant? Oh, that's a nice word, Ed.
And
Thank
we
you.
had Josh Alvarez say hello.
Oh,
and
hi.
we've had a couple other alumni say hello as well.
So nice to have you on. That's so nice. Hope all of you are well and doing well, and stay in touch. Tell us what you're doing. It's great to hear your voices. Yes, I remember you. I remember you all well. I remember you well. You're never forgotten at Eastern, okay? Once you're here, you're always here. You're always part of us. Well, now that I had student government kind of coming in, I want to give a shout out to our current student government. They're going to be speaking with the regions this Friday. They're very involved in following legislative, various bills, including the lottery scholarship. Our president, Enrique Carrillo, is, leading or talking with other student body presidents, and I think that's a really important aspect for legislators to see that students have an opinion about the lottery scholarship and should have a voice in what's happening to it. Our vice president, Cameron Colson, also is very involved in this, and I'm really pleased with our student leaders. The Senate meets regularly. They're connecting with their constituents, and I think that's really an important part of keeping people connected, because Student Senate are very important leaders for Eastern, and it's really important to me to be able to speak with them and to the constituency presidents of the professional and support and faculty senates as well. So,
Donna Cripp just chimed in that she's here, and she's Elaine Bridwell's daughter.
Wonderful. Well, how nice. Thank you for chiming in. I like that.
Don Thomas said that he's so thankful that you're our chancellor. Thank you all. So.
Well, Don, I am thankful you are alive and living in Portales. That's what I'm thankful for. Why don't come by sometime, Don? You haven't been in the building in a bunch of Sundays, so to speak. So nice to hear all of you. Our greatest asset at Eastern are the community that supports us and the students that we've graduated who still help us and still lift us up. So thank you for being out there and caring about us and sticking up for us. We will always stick up for you too. Speaking of sticking up, I should really commend the legislators who really stick up for us in Santa Fe. Actually, they're not really in Santa Fe. They're sort of virtually in Santa Fe, but a number of them are doing really hard work trying to put together a budget in very, very uncertain times. And we really appreciate the help of Senator Engel. Representative Phelps Anderson down in Roswell is a great supporter of higher education, an intelligent, informed contributor to committees. Representative Candy Zell is on appropriations. She's an alum. we're just extremely fortunate to have a friend like Senator Gay Kernan down in the southeast, and it's just remarkable how many people help us. Randy Crowder is an incredible asset to us, smart, supportive. Martin Zamora. I mean, we are just Senator Purtle down in Roswell. We're just extremely fortunate to have such a well-informed and higher ed friendly group, and not just higher ed, all education. I would put Senator Kernan's expertise about everything having to do with education, I'd put it against anybody. She's absolutely a consummate professional and you know, just a wonderful asset to her community and to the state of New Mexico. So some people may look at New Mexico legislature and think, like, how do they do this? Well, if you have a moment and can drop in on one of those Senate hearings or House hearings, I think you will be immensely impressed at the collegiality and expertise that they reveal about everything from conservation to economics to education and everything in between. It's really humbling and impressive to see how hard they work for peanuts, and they do it for us. They do it for the state of New Mexico. So I think we are well served, and I hope that within the next 30 days they can come to a good conclusion for our budget and moving forward for New Mexico in positive ways. It's been a tough time though.
We had Jolene Turpin said, great to hear and see you again, so she just chimed in.
How are you, Jolene? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're still happy over in that other state and that you have hate and light. It's great to hear all these folks. So Jolene was an employee here and has kids who are alums and daughter who's a teacher, and it's just great to hear your virtual voice, Jolene. It's like you're here. I'm so glad. Does the office look different? Downstairs now, so you know it's looking a little different. Anyway. So the rest of you are probably thinking, gosh, when am I going to get back to Eastern and do some fun things? And of course you will in fall. But I just want to remind you that you don't have to wait until fall. There's some virtual events that you can attend. And I hope you'll consider that. We have, for example, the theater department invites you to attend their performances. You can log in and you can find that information on their website and on our website, of course. But it's they're doing a version, a modernized version of Everyman, the morality play from the 5th century. 15th century. I'm sure you remember it very well. Anyway, it's very edgy and modern and an interesting remake of Everyman called Everybody. And it's kind of an interesting one. That's going to be February 25th, 26th, 27th, and the matinee on the 28th. All that information is on the website. If you go to enmu.edu/fine arts events, you get all that information. We also want to remind you of ENMU Reads. This is a Facebook posting of our faculty and staff who make presentations that are available to to everyone, but especially to libraries in the area and kids who want to know a little more about science or know something about science fiction or want to hear a story read or want to see a presentation on a historical figure. All of these programs are available on ENMU Reads, which, by the way, just received an award from CASE, which is a national organization that recognizes excellence in marketing and programming. And so Eastern won this. And was it the Paperclip Award, John, or the low budget award?
It was Marketing on a Shoestring.
Marketing on a Shoestring. Does that sound like Eastern? Yes, it does. Anyway, they were very complimentary about not only the program itself, but the innovation of the program. And there's a wonderful visual of, well, it's Ralph, and he's reading. So, I mean, I think that's a good message to children of all ages. So, ENMU reads.
We had a couple comments. Stephanie Jacobs said she misses you.
Oh, thank you.
And Danita Bynum was wondering if you might be able to share your email so people could contact you.
Absolutely. My contact is, like all ENMU contacts, patrice.caldwell@enmu.edu. So Patrice is an odd name, Patrice, okay, Caldwell, CALDWELL @enmu.edu. You can also reach me, if it's easier for you, at ENMU.President@enmu.edu, which some people find that easier to spell. I don't know why, but either way gets to me. So please feel free. And if you have a question that you don't necessarily want to post on Facebook, by all means, shoot it to me that way, and then we can talk.
And Doreen Chavez just posted a heart and said Dr. Caldwell. So we're getting a lot of interaction.
I
today,
like, see, this is a good day. So Thursday must be a good day to talk, huh?
I think the new phone is helping too, so people actually can hear us.
So now you can hear.
Yeah.
Fancy that. Well, you learn something every time. We occasionally do buy new things and use new technology, so I'm glad it's working. And I'm so glad you're jumping in and letting us know that you're out there. That's great. I guess I'll tell you two more things kind of about science since we started talking about Roosevelt Science Center, because I want to give you lots to think about. So Dr. Yan, who's the chair, he's in chemistry, and he's the chair over there of the physical sciences. He's welcoming the president of the American Chemical Society to campus. We have a ACS approved degree in chemistry. He's coming to look at our facility, and I'm sure Dr. Yan is going to take a long time describing what we do in the science building, what research we're doing in Roosevelt Hall, and how much greater it's going to be once we do the remodeling. And Dr. Craddock, who is the chair of biology is ramping up to host its own virtual student research conference. It'll just be biology, but they're going to host it live. It'll be linked off ENMU Reads, and you'll have a wonderful opportunity to see what our students are doing in the labs with faculty. They make posters, they make presentations. There'll be a nice range. And, don't think you won't understand this stuff. You're going to understand it. You're going to like it. They do a lot of interesting things. Everything from bugs to DNA sequencing. So you really would find it, I think, inspiring to see how excited students get about doing research on their own and how professional their presentations are, because they're working with professional researchers. They're faculty whom they can watch and model their professionalism. And I think it's a wonderful plan, and I look forward to seeing what biology comes up with. Lots of our organizations are doing things with students too to keep them engaged. I'm so impressed with the Social Work Club, which is doing lots of wonderful community outreach projects, and I think we are so blessed to have a community that allows us to come out and do anything we can think of that would help, and then thanks the students and then gives them jobs. So I think it's just a great relationship. Any university that is going to be great has to have a great community around it, and we do. So it's on us to be as great as that community, and we're trying our best, and we can't wait to bring a bunch of students back, like about 5 to 6,000, bring them all back on campus and go into all those restaurants and eat up everything and buy out the stores and camp down and just, sit in restaurants and make a community feel that we're all back together again and everybody's healthy and the economy's recovering, and Eastern's back. So that's what we're looking forward to in fall. We're still here, we're still working, so, call, write, let us know if you need anything. But we know that you want the in-person experience. We do too.
Amberella just said thank you for taking care of your faculty and staff by providing us with connection to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
Well, you are welcome. I'm so grateful to faculty and all they are doing for students. The least I can do is share information as I get it from our partners, especially at the hospital. And, I always will do that. So, I can't afford to lose you, Anne. I need you. I need you in that math classroom desperately. And your wonderful spouse, Dr. Varela, I need him in his lab. So, every one of you, every person who works at Eastern is important and valuable to us because you're important and valuable to students. So, one big family. We need to look out for each other. So, thanks. I hope you're all going to stay safe. I think are we reaching the end of our time together, John? Well, I know that a lot of you are taking care of people and I hope taking care of yourselves and taking care of each other. And it's a really important time to do that and not forget yourselves in that caretaking. But, when you're feeling, when is this ever going to end? When's it ever going to warm up? Well, it's going to be 50 degrees here tomorrow, okay? So brighten up. It's going to be okay. And we've learned a lot from this pandemic. We've all really learned a whole lot about online teaching. We've learned a lot about the resilience of students and about the support that, without even knowing, we give to each other. I think those are invaluable lessons, and I think we've all learned them, but I hope at Eastern we've learned them in a way that's going to allow us to be an even stronger institution when we all come back together again in fall. And I challenge all of us to come back and do that, because that's why we're here. We're a learning institution, and we want to learn through this pandemic and come out of it stronger. So you get your vaccines, and you stay positive, and stay in touch, and I'll be thinking of all of you as I plunge my hands into the coffee. No, I don't have to. It's not that cold. But as I toast you with my coffee. Thanks for joining, and please stay in touch.